Good morning. Good morning. It is time to go live with another pre-market PulseScan with yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the infamous, the now infamous six-pack price trigger report. You know you need those pulse waves, man. You know you are thirsty. Come get some quencher. All right, you know you got to do it. All right, so here we are, hump day. All right, we are midweek. We're on Wednesday now. This is April the 8th of 2020. We got holiday weekend coming up, really a 4-day holiday weekend, basically. I believe market's going to be closed Friday and Monday or some type of holiday schedule. I still have not looked into it specifically, but I will, and I will post it on the in the trading room. If someone beats me to it, that's fine. You can post it. So this is kind of like a do or die moment between today and tomorrow. Whatever the markets are going to do, they should do. I did tell you in the last video that historically markets on during the April holiday and during 4th of July, I've never seen a bear market in those situations. I've never seen the market be down hardcore, hard body karate during the 4th of July weekend or the Easter weekend. It's almost like a thing, you know, it's like a thing. So because we are in uncertain territory right now, it is a possibility, though, that all that could be out the window. So I wanted to just, put y'all down with that. Anything goes right now. The market can do whatever it wants to do. It's not under any kind of rules or anything like that. It can just go ham at any moment, depending on, which way they decide to push the market. All right. So I don't want anyone to be disillusioned out there. Okay. All right. What's the next thing? Yeah. So, markets are up right now. We'll see if they stay up, but they are up right now. I do understand too. First of all, let's do this because I'm always doing like multiple things at once. Let's get into the chit arts, overnight market stuff, and then we'll talk. All right, so let's do that real quick. And by the way, good morning to everybody that's in the live. What's up, Rob? What's up, my man Frank? Colossus, Hollywood 49, Sling, Rob, Mick, Red, Jen. Hey, what's up, Jen? Dave, Darian. What up, peoples? What up, peoples? Yep, Monday is Easter Monday. Yep. So there'll be no trading for the most part during those times. Hey, what up, Paul? All right. So yeah, let's get into the market thing real quick because sometimes I forget. I get long-winded and I forget to look at the overnight. So let's knock that out first. All right. So here is our Dow. It's up 321 points right now at 22,806. NASDAQ 100 is up 110 3/4 points at 8124 1/4. The E-mini S&P 500 is up 37 at trading at 2679 even. Russell is up 25.3 points, trading at 1150.5. Bitcoin futures composite index is down $5, trading at 7,325. It did rally overnight to 7,475, and it hit a low of 7,160. All right, so it's hanging in there, man. It's hanging in there. It's well off those lows, and it's pretty much well off the high too. It's like right now in the middle of the road, not giving us too much to go on right now. Nat gas is up. It's basically flat, but leaning toward a bullish bias. You're trading at 186 right now, and the overnight high was 191, and the low was 180. So you're middle of the road there too. Crude oil, very interesting in the crude oil. Crude oil right now is trading at $24.17. It's up 55 cents. It did top out at $25.30 before retreating, and the overnight low is $23.75. Really watching the crude. I wanted to get involved in the crude, but it broke and started running before I had a chance to even put my ticket in. So I said, forget it. I'll just wait and catch it on the flip side. What that means is if I miss my futures entry for whatever reason, I then will either wait for it to pull back and then place my order, or I'll say bump the whole thing and I'll just participate on the equity side. Now, my rationale for that, for those who don't understand, is because equities are usually better priced than the futures. Futures tend to have extreme swings in one direction or the other, or even sometimes both. All right. And that can distort your charts. But the equities, they're pretty smooth. Equities have, they tend to gap almost like every other day, basically, but they're smoother. You don't really see these extreme, you know, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Not overextended, but the coffee ain't kicked in yet. I can't think. Anyway, with the equities, you don't really see these, massive pointers. You'll have bullish and bearish pointers, but they won't be massive. Like you won't, it's not normal on the equity side. When I say equities, I don't mean, common stocks. I'm talking about the stock indexes, things like. I'm talking about the ETFs. Is what I'm talking about. So it's smoother. The chart is usually a lot better put together than the futures. Plus, futures can be a little messy because of contract rollover. Remember, the contract doesn't last forever, so that's why SPY will be a better chart to look at most of the time than the E-mini S&P 500 itself. Another trick of the trade is the indexes, the cash indexes themselves also tend to be a lot smoother than the futures. All right, and there are times where you can use the cash index to actually trade the underlying futures. Not when it's ridiculous, insane volatility, but just the normal ebb and flow, the normal volatility of the market. Normally, the U.S. stock indexes give you a lot of volatility, really nice movement, good bang for your buck, really good risk to reward ratio, all that good stuff. But the times that we're in right now, these last couple of weeks, not at all. It's been absolutely insane and very difficult to get a handle on. It's like you have to have your tickets like ready to go, no distractions. You can't be married, you can't have a spouse, you can't have kids, you can't have a life, you can't go to the bathroom, you can't eat a bowl of cereal, you can't do nothing but be chained to your desk. And that's not how I roll. So, with all that said, let's continue. Take a look here. I want to show you something. Look at the Russell. The Russell is been the weaker sister out of all of the indices, but yet it's trying to power up with everyone else. It's doing okay. This is the one to watch because it's been the weakest. If it can get its legs underneath of it, it stands to gain more than the other indexes because it will be playing catch up. That's another strategy, another trick of the trade. You always look for the weaker hand in the indexes because either that particular hand is going to get stronger and make up for lost ground and lost time, or it's actually being the leader. It's showing leadership. And if that's the case, you go in and you short the one that's been the most bullish, or you buy the one that's been the most bearish. You see what I'm saying? So there's different tricks to the trade when you're dealing with stock index futures, all right? And the indexes, period, whether it be ETFs or futures contracts. So this is one to watch, especially during this holiday. Just want to throw that out there for you. All right. If you take a look at the long bond, you see that it's down 22.30 seconds. It's trading at 178 and 17.30 seconds. It's been kind of quiet in the overnight. It hit 180, in 3:30 seconds, but it also hit a low of 178 in 12:30 seconds, of which we're just near those highs right now. All right, and it could break the floor at any moment. So that's why, like I said, it was hard to tell sometimes for bonds. Bonds can look quiet, like it's not doing nothing, and then all of a sudden, you're up mad points or down mad points. It should be noted, though, that there is a bid on the inverse ETF this morning. There is a bid in the inverse ETF this morning, but there is no bid in the TLT this morning. It's going the opposite direction. So I find that very interesting as well. Will the TBT hold? Will the pullback continue to gain momentum on the downside like I showed you in last night's charts? That is the big question. All right, now taking a look at gold. Gold is another wild card here. Gold now is up $2. That's it. It's at $1,685.60 an ounce. Right now, the overnight high, which we just pulled back from, we're middle of the road again. We were at $1,693.10, but we hit a low of $1,670.70 in the overnight. So we're middle of the road on the gold right now, really not giving us too much to go on. So we're just looking at it. And I'll say this too. I'm surprised because I thought that GLD was going to maintain its momentum. Like I say, GLD is better priced than the gold futures, but the gold futures leads the GLD. All right, that's how that works. Sometimes, though, what will happen is your cash market will lead the futures, and that's not a normal occurrence. So when it happens, it's usually telling. So, for example, if GLD right now is catching a bid and it's up while the gold futures is down, that's usually saying that GLD is leading the market, and that would tell you that the gold futures has higher to go. It's just kind of a weird, thing with this particular market. So in this case, we have the GLD falling in pre-market. All right, it's down pretty significantly, almost $1, while the gold futures is up almost $3. See what I'm saying? So you have to look at those relationships. All right, and when you have a divergence like that, you have to watch it. You have to see exactly where the market wants to take you. All right, take a look at silver. Silver's down 12 cents. It's at $15.36. We did peak out at $15.44, but the overnight low was $15.11. All right. So this one is kind of moving in that narrow range inside day where it's clipping you on both sides. If you're trying to short it, it's gonna fill you, and then it's gonna stop you out. If you try to get long, it's gonna fill you, and now you're waiting to see if it stops you out. So this one is a very interesting one to see. And what is it going to do? Is it going to break out or is it going to break down? And it's trying not to give you too many clues. It's trying to play hide and seek with you for a minute. Like, can you figure me out? I dare you. Come on. Try to trade me. Let's see if you can trade me. It's like it's taunting you. All right. The US dollar here is up 11 pips right now. It's in the green and positive and back above par. US dollar is trading now at par 01. We did go to par 0.43 before pulling back to just par. The overnight low was 99.90 though. So the dollar is still showing some life, signs of strength. The euro yen right now is up 8 pips, trading at 118.54, just slightly off the highs of the session. It did dip below 118 briefly. It went to 117.99. Now the euro itself is off 28 pips, trading at 109 even. It did drop down to 108.52 before getting back above 109. All right, the pound sterling right now is up 42 pips at 123.90. It's trading right around the highs of the session, which is 123.93. It did dip below 123 briefly as well. It went to 122.97 before getting back up to 123.90. All right, the Aussie is flat. It is literally flat. It is trading at 61.97, 2 pips off the overnight high. It did dip down to 61.16 in the beginning of the session before ending up where it is now. So it is absolutely flat. 0 pips. Going to food, the soybeans is up 4.5 points at 859 and a quarter. All right, it's right off of the highs of the session. It briefly dipped to 851 3/4. All right, so not even a $10 handle there, but it's getting there. Looking at corn, we're at we're up 2.5 at 334 even, which is the high of the session. It briefly dipped down to 331 and a quarter. So basically what you're seeing here, the reoccurring theme in the overnight markets is that it's been quiet and there's hardly been any movement. All right, markets are just hanging out wherever they are right now. And I believe that that's going to stay that way for some time. All right, because like I said, the closer we get to the end of the week, that's going to be all pretty much it. People are going to be getting ready to take a nice long 4-day weekend. All right, here's the news. So things will get worse before they get better. Cisco CEO John Chambers predicts the U.S. economy won't recover fully until next year. It's time to reinvent or be left behind, he said. All right, I got mad info regarding this whole economic situation. As you know, I've been feverishly grabbing all the articles I can, downloading videos. YouTube has been at it again. They have been deleting stuff, man, like mad. Anytime somebody uploads anything that has any shred of truth to it, they've been at it hardcore, hard body karate. I even had a dream last night, y'all. I had a dream that YouTube was changing and reinventing itself, and that it was going to have a massive, massive effect on YouTube channels, like really big time. So I don't know what that means, but that's what I saw. And I must say it was weird because in the dream, I wasn't the only one that was like raised their hand, like, can you be more specific on these changes? How is it going to affect us as individuals? What are you saying? What's really going on? And we did not get a straight answer. Another person stood up and was like, yeah, I would like to know blah, blah, blah too. And nope, no specific answers were given. They were speaking in circles, like avoiding everything. So it was really weird. So I had that in my spirit right now, that the way they've been, censoring on the internet and stuff, it's getting telling. Yeah, people have been trying to find another platform, but it's hard. It's hard because there's several that a lot of YouTubers have been moving to, but I don't know. All right, this one has a question. What do you think of the David Icke London Real video? There's a lot of interesting gematria on the whole situation. All right. I've been reserving a lot of stuff. I've been saying things here and there. So full disclosure, that David Icke London Real video has been deleted off of YouTube. Seems like every time somebody uploads it, it gets deleted immediately. One of the traders in the trading room brought some information to, some stuff to my information to my being here. So what I have done, what I did was I was able to get the video. The interview is over 2 hours long. I was able to get it this morning. So I'm going to watch it later on today. I'm gonna peep it, and then I'll be able to give my ideas on it. But another guy in the trading room brought another YouTube channel. He posted a video. A guy called Chico Crypto. Never heard of him before. But my goodness, was his he did a video series, 2-part series on the whole COVID thing. I didn't know this guy existed. I didn't know anything about this person. But I'm gonna say this: I had to go ahead and get the man a subscribe. I had to subscribe to it. I like the way he put his information together. Kind of reminiscent of Alex Jones, but without all the theater. Very nice video footage. Very nice way he put and presented his information. I like him. I think he presents news very well. And I have to say that I agree with everything that he said in both of those videos. But here's the problem, though. Here's the problem, folks. You know, when you're just one person, you can't really do but so much sometimes. It takes a whole bunch of people getting together and doing and saying the same thing. But let's not get things twisted, you guys. I warned everyone. I was by myself. I warned everyone that this was coming. I did it first in my documentary, There Is No Collapse. All right. That was the first introduction. Then I followed it up with the Fed versus the blockchain and central banks versus the Bitcoin. All right. And I talked about stuff. All the things I talked about in both of those documentaries is everything that Chico and David Icke has been talking about. All right. They're talking about it now, but I talked about it in 2016. Thank God YouTube didn't delete those 2 videos. I think the reason why they didn't delete those 2 documentaries is because no one knows I exist. I am an invisible channel on YouTube. I don't have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Poor little old me. But the information is still there for those who have not watched those 2 documentaries that I did. The information is there. It was posted in 2016 before any of this even started. Oh, by the way, before I forget, man, oh man, there have been mad videos getting posted on social media showing the 5G towers blowing up all over the place, guys. Blowing up. I mean, exploding, like boom, sparks, flames, fire coming out of those things. You got to check it. Do a search on YouTube and look at 5G towers exploding or 5G towers on fire. And this has just been over the last 24 hours, people. The last 24 hours. All over the place. Not just one place. All over. People showing footage of this stuff. Now, because of my vast background and many different things, I can speak authoritatively on the subject. Here we go. All right, so 5G network is, just like cell phone towers and all that stuff. It goes back to cable theory. All right, it's all the same thing, cable theory. Okay, so basically these towers are doing that is because they're being used. All right, your cell phone, you never seen a cell phone tower blow up. If you have, that's a super rare occurrence. But to see multiple 5G towers catching flames and overheating and going to fire like that means that they've been turned all the way up and they're being overused. What happens is when you get a lot of surge and you get a lot of usage out of your towers, out of your network, then it could make those things overheat. And because the 5G uses so much energy, those things can overheat real fast. All right. And that's why they're catching fire, people, because they've been turned on. So here's one for you. What the heck is going on? How are your 5G towers catching fire if they're not even in service yet? The entire network hasn't even been turned on yet. It's not even finished. It's not even supposed to be in existence technically yet. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Really? Oh, so it's an arsonist? So this arsonist has the God-given attribute of omnipresence. How are these towers blowing up all over the place at different times? Please. Knuckle, please. It is not, and I repeat, not arson. They wish it was arson, but it is not arson. All right, so let's just keep that a buck. Let's keep that a buck. It's not arson. It is 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 not arson. All right, so if that was the case, then how come I don't hear any? Well, I'll leave that alone. I don't want to give some sick person any ideas. But no, it's not. It's not arson. All right. So I had to tell y'all about that. Yeah, these things are on fire because someone turned them on. All right. You could light a match to something, and it doesn't mean it's gonna burn. We're talking about 5G towers. All right, and most of them are put right on cell phone towers. If that was the case, how come you haven't been hearing about any disruptions in cell phone networks? It's because it's not arson. The thing is on fire. Someone turned it on and turned it way up. It's being overused. Now, let's bring it all back in. Have you noticed that the whole coronavirus thing has been on the rise? You even hear it in the mainstream media now that it's research, it's reemerging itself. It's coming back even in China. I thought China was free of it. What's going on? That's all I'm saying, man. You got to do the knowledge to everything. You don't just sit back and just, play defense. You got to play offense. You got to get in the game. You got to really look at what's going on. Okay. All right. Real quick, I need to let you know, for those that are not really keeping score, the market has opened. The opening bell has begun. If you have not looked at the shopping list for today, I can tell you right now, you probably have missed your entry point. All right. The long Russell, long gold, long silver, long Dow, and short bonds has already gone off. All right. Those have now triggered. Okay. All those have now triggered. So you might have a chance to go ahead and get your tickets in right quick, but you got to be fast because we already know what kind of day we're going to see. We already know what this is about. This is the holidays. All right. So you got to get in there and bang it out. You can't be scared. All right. You got to get in there. And FYI, before I forget to, because I know these questions are going to come up. People always ask me questions as soon as I go off the air. And I'm like, I thought I addressed that. So let me address it. On the futures only, I automatically put in orders on both sides of the market at all times. Because number one, that's just how I roll. And number two, we are in uncertain times and anything can happen. A piece of news can come out and totally change the direction of the market, okay? Because we're in a news-driven market right now. It's very sensitive to news. So if you're going to be following along, for those, I'm talking to the members now, talking to subscribers, if you're following along in the trading room, you need to be aware of that, okay? And you got to put both sides of your orders in or some type of semblance thereof. If you're uncomfortable with, like, let's say you don't want to go short gold futures, but you did participate on the long side, and you want to know what do you do if you're stopped out, then what you're going to want to do is go to the equity side and buy the DGLD, but only according to the intraday price inflection point. If that is not met, then you are not in that market, okay? Just want to point that out. All right, let's move on. I digress. All right, so let's see here. Finger pointing from politicians. Stocks slide after Eurozone leaders failed to agree on coronavirus response. We came close to a deal, but we are not there yet, said the Eurogroup chairman, Mario Centeno. The world's biggest iPhone maker is going to start making ventilators. Foxconn is joining companies like Ford, GM, and Tesla and switching some of its manufacturing lines to make ventilators. Question. I thought that we were supposed to be social distancing and staying at home. So how is it that all these companies now have gone into government contractors and now they're making things for the US government? I thought nobody could work. I thought that this virus was so deadly that we got to do social distancing and for the most part, stay at home and do nothing. You can't go outside. You can't do nothing because it's too deadly. And then notice how they've enforced curfews in certain states. But in all the video footage that you see of the police force, they're all standing next to each other and they're not wearing masks or gloves. So are you trying to tell me that police are immune to the COVID-19? So because they have a badge, they wear a badge, they can all stand in big groups together, huddled together and talking, and they're not 6 feet apart? And how is it that when the president is doing his, their live thing, when they're standing up there, when he's at the podium, have you noticed that he has a bunch of people surrounding him and they're not standing 6 feet apart and they're not wearing masks or gloves? Are they immune to COVID-19? And how about the people in the audience? How about all the press? They're all next to each other, crammed in tight spacing, and they're not wearing masks or gloves either. I thought the COVID-19 was so deadly. I thought it was too deadly. It's too deadly. Why is it every time we see any type of footage, we see police, we see everybody in close quarters, talking, carrying on, whatever, chilling, and there is no masks and no gloves? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Does the police badge have immunity in it? When you put it on your chest, does some substance ooze out of the police badge and make you immune? If you are a cabinet member of the president's, does the office itself, there's some type of vortex come over you and automatically because he dubbed you in his cabinet that you are immune? Is everyone that is on television immune? Every time they show anything, it's immune? I don't understand. If this thing is too deadly, isn't it too deadly for the police? Shouldn't they have on masks and gloves? Shouldn't they be practicing social distancing? I don't see no social distancing in the press conferences. I don't see no social distancing with the footage of the police force. Or what about the firefighters? I saw firefighters chilling, riding in the same truck, chilling though. They wasn't moving. They was just in the truck chilling. All right. And they not 6 feet apart. I don't understand. I thought first responders were just as much at risk as the public. Then why are they not afraid to be near each other? I don't understand. What's going on? What in the heck's going on here? It doesn't make sense. Now, peep this, folks. You got to understand something here because it's not making sense. A lot of things aren't making sense. Okay, so recently in a lot of the grocery stores, since grocery stores are obviously considered high on the priority chain because people got to eat, they were not wearing masks, they weren't wearing gloves, and they weren't practicing social distancing. Managers were up in the face with his or her employees, talking whatever, taking money, taking cash from customers. All right. This went on for a minute. It wasn't until now, like within the last week now, that the grocery stores have put up these plexiglass type shields now around the cash register, and you see some of the cashiers wearing splatter things that you see people wear who work in a lab and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about? The splatter masks. They're wearing these splatter things. They're not wearing the surgical masks. They're wearing splatter guard things over their face. And they have this big plastic partition up separating you from them, and you got to talk to each other through the partition. And you can't even hear each other, so you still end up going around the other side of the partition and talking to them because y'all can't really hear. You can't communicate with them. All right? Just saying. Now they're doing this. But wait a minute. If this thing is too deadly, shouldn't every cashier that I have seen since this whole thing, shouldn't they all be dead by now or away somewhere in some hospital somewhere recovering from COVID? I'm still seeing the same people that I always see when I go to the grocery store. The same cashiers there, the same store managers there, still going about their business, going about their day like nothing has changed. So if it's too deadly, why they not dead? Why they not sick? Why aren't they recuperating in some ICU somewhere? What's up? How Martin used to say, what's up? I would like answers. Why can't we get some real answers? I'll tell you why we can't get real answers. Because this is the perfect New World Order plot. It is perfect. I couldn't have written a better script myself. This script is flawless. It is perfect. I don't know how they're able to come up with this stuff like this, to be so perfect and flawless like this, where you can't even do anything about it. All right, here we go. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so first it was the red state. We're at war with the communist. Communist. Remember the blacklist? The worst thing you could do to someone in public was call them a communist. They'll be blackballed from Hollywood, blackballed from everything. We got a red one over here. You got a communist. He's a sickle. He has a red sickle, yellow sickle. He's a communist. Get him up out of here. Roll him up out of here. All right. And then during World War II, if you were of Japanese descent, you was in trouble. You was going to a concentration camp near you. All right. They were the enemy. The Japanese are the enemy. Then that died down. Right. So then we went to the Cold War. The communists are the enemy again because they want to blow us off the map with all of their nukes. Mind you, the only nation to ever use a nuke on another nation was the United States. No other country has nuked another country, only the United States. Now, after the Cold War passed, now we needed a new enemy. The military-industrial complex, in order to stay in business, they need clients. Need an enemy. All right? Pest control is not coming to do anything in your house unless you call them and say, I have a problem. So they had to create a problem. All right? They do 9/11. We have a new enemy. It is the terrorist. The word terrorist was just as vague as the word communist. It could mean anybody and anything. It had no real definition. It's whoever we say. Then they made laws. They made a Patriot Act. Then after that, they made a National Defense Authorization Act saying that now we could deal with you without a trial, no lawyer, no Bill of Rights, no Constitution. You have no say. We can disappear you forever. All right. They made all these laws to protect themselves so that they can be above the law and do whatever they want, whenever they want, to whomever they want. But then that wasn't good enough. All right. Because then under Obama's watch, he says, hey, we caught Osama bin Laden, enemy number one. We got him. But here's the problem, though. If you got them, now you've removed the threat. There's no more threat. The terrorists are gone. You've captured and killed them all. It's done. You're done. Now what? Industrial complex, military industrial complex said, hey, we're in trouble here. We don't have any more enemies. No more boogeyman. We killed them all. Now what do? Someone came up with a good plan. They said, let's create the ultimate boogeyman, a boogeyman that can never be extinguished, a boogeyman that would give us power that we've always been seeking but never able to get. And so they come up with the invisible enemy. The invisible enemy. This is the perfect enemy. He never goes away. He can never be totally eradicated. You can never be certain that you eradicated him because he's invisible. No amount of bombs will work. No amount of anything will work. We have an open-ended war, just what we need. So now they have COVID-19. COVID-19 has been made to be the perfect boogeyman, the perfect weapon, better than Osama bin Laden or any other, better than the Red State, better than communism, better than Cold War, better than anything. And have you noticed that COVID-19, since its birth, it has grown into a full-blown adult, like overnight? Totally amazing. They've given life to COVID-19 because now they're saying, and here's the absurdity of it all. COVID-19, not only can't you ever eradicate it, but it can come back and you can be reinfected multiple times. So it can never, ever be eradicated. You can get it again. If you've gotten it once, you can get it again and again and again. Oh, and by the way, there's no signs and no symptoms. You don't have any symptoms either. So millions of people can be walking around with the disease and not know they have it and give it to other people. Oh, and check this out. COVID-19 is so smart. It's so intelligent. It can turn itself on or off whenever it wants to. It doesn't really have a vector. It just does whatever it wants, whenever it wants. Basically, we have an invisible enemy that is intelligent, highly advanced, and can never be eradicated. With that, you have to draw it out to its logical conclusion. What do you do with an enemy that you can't see, you can't taste, and you can't smell? What do you do with an enemy that can infect the entire world population, hide in the host, and not come out for decades? Basically, what they've done, they've made the perfect AIDS virus. Because this one, not only does it hide in your body, like the AIDS virus does, right? But it can turn itself on whenever it wants, and we don't know, and you never know. And because of that risk, now we must take drastic measures because we don't know who has it, and we don't know when it can turn on. And if it turns itself on, it's going to kill the host and kill everyone it comes in contact with. Oh, and by the way, it's not just surfaces anymore. It's not a surface disease, folks. It is an airborne disease. Dun, dun, dun. That's why we need to do social distancing. That's why we need everyone to stay home. That's why you got to close all the schools, close all the businesses. This is perfect. It's the perfect enemy. Because now a never-ending budget has been granted to the Department of Defense and Homeland Security. A never-ending budget, an open-ended budget. Whatever they need, they will have now. And this is the perfect excuse, the perfect reason to roll out the new age. Remember, we went from Industrial Revolution. Then we went to the Internet Revolution. Then we went to the Information Revolution. All that stuff has met maturity. And now it's time to usher in the last and final age, the last and final stage. Do you know what that is? It's complete takeover. The last stage is complete lockdown. I warned you about this, and there is no collapse. I warned you again with the Fed versus the blockchain and the central banks versus Bitcoin. I warned you that this was coming in 2016. I told you what the plan was. The plan is a global control grid where you can track the movements of every human being on the planet in real time. Not only will they be able to see you and track you visibly, but they will also be able to hear. They're putting together the Borg, people. It's the Borg. The Borg is becoming a reality. With the Borg, all right, the fictionalized Borg from Star Trek The Next Generation, when you were connected to it, they could hear and read your thoughts, right? When you're connected to the Borg, many become one. Well, the Borg is not a fictional thing, it is a reality. The Borg is tracking the movement of human beings in real time, and you have not only eyes on them, but also sound. They will be able to track you and listen to you in real time. All right? I warned you about this. This is something they've been working on for decades. All right? It's the God complex. It's the all-seeing eye. The all-seeing eye is literal. They've created the God vortex. This God vortex is able to see everyone on the planet in real time. Not only can they see you in real time and track you in real time, but they will be able to listen to you in real time. I don't think you guys are hearing me. Why do you think trillions of dollars have gone missing and unaccounted for, and they've started all these new industries and new corporations and new government bodies? It's because they're going to need to hire a lot of people, even though it's going to be the whole brain and nucleus of this will be artificial intelligence. They're going to have real people, just like they do over there in the UK right now. They got like over 3,000 cameras where they can watch people in real time and listen to people in real time. This is going global. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. For a time being, it's going to look like you're going to have absolute peace. Crime is going to go down because they'll be able to solve crimes in real time. All right. If something jumps off, it'll be easy to solve the crime after the fact. Want to know why? All you got to do is go to your computer, pull up the individuals that were in the area at the time, and now you're able to narrow down your suspect list, because every human being will have a tracker, will have a marker that will be unique to you and your identity, so they will know where you are in real time. They've been telling you this throughout the whole COVID crisis. Did you not hear them say that they want to get certain identities for people, a digital identity? Did you not hear them saying that they'll know, who has the virus and who don't, who got a vaccine and who didn't? All this stuff. All right, all this stuff. And they'll be able to do that. You say, how are they going to be able to do this with real time? Are they going to install thousands of cameras everywhere? No, they don't need to install thousands of cameras everywhere. They already have billions of cameras. What are you talking about? It's called your smartphone. Yep, it's called your smartphone. And some of you have a smart house, and some of you have smart appliances in your smart house. The Internet of Things, everything is connected to the Borg on purpose, so they can track everything about you in real time. All right, there's a murder, there's a body. We found a body over here in this ditch over here. Okay, well, based on, them analyzing the crime scene, the body looks like it's been there for about 72 hours. Let's go back and roll the tape of this particular area, and we'll be able to know in real time exactly who was in the area at the time. We'll actually be able to see the person, to see the body, and we'll know what's going on. We'll be able to track this. They will be able to solve crimes in real time. They'll be able to track everybody and everything, because every person will have a tracker and a specific ID mark that puts you at locations. It's going to be ridiculous. And they will also be able to track your human consumption. That's right. I'm telling you, it's here, folks. COVID-19 is going to be the perfect opportunity for them to roll the BORGE out. All right. You don't need a chip. Don't need it. You don't need a chip. You don't need a chip. You do not need a chip. They're not chipping anyone. Chips are too expensive to chip the entire planet. Too expensive. Don't need a chip. They have a tattoo now. They've narrowed it down to a tattoo. Anyone can get the tattoo. It already has the barcode and stuff on it. That's all they need to do. It's in a tattoo. Boom. Tattoo. All right. That's all it is. A tattoo. Now you wait. Over the next decade, the next 10 years, you're going to see this rolled out worldwide. And yep, it will be the mark on the hand or the forehead. Why would they want to do that? Because those are the perfect places on the body, on the human body, to put them. Yep. Yes, sir, Bob. You will need that if you want to go anywhere and do anything. Now they've rolled this out several years ago, right after they started working with the chip. Remember when they were rolling the pilots out? They had all the workers down in Mexico. This company, whatever, they had implanted the chip in everybody. They were being used as the pilot program, but then they finally realized how to put it into the tattoo, and so they've been using that as well. Have you seen the movies? Have you paid attention where they show that you got to do a retinal scan to go behind this door, or the handprint, to go behind the other door? Well, they're able to get this type of technology in the tattoo where you don't have to even wave your hand or do anything. You just walk in and walk out. It already will read you. It will read that tattoo. The tattoo is perfect also because tattoos are permanent. All right. They don't just wash off. You can't just wash it off or rub it off. All right. It's pretty neat the way that they have this whole thing put together. And it's coming out. They're going to roll it out. You're going to need it to start your car. You're going to need it to get in your house. You're going to need it to turn on your computer, turn on your refrigerator, turn the lights on in your house. It'll be used for everything. And before a while, you'll be used to it. All right. You'll be used to it. All right. Now, it is not going to be necessarily forced on you, because remember, they like to roll things out slowly. So in the beginning, it will be voluntary. And then at the end, it will be mandatory. Now, I'm explaining to you what I mean by voluntary in the beginning. What's going to happen is, this is how this is going to become the thing. All right. So when they begin to roll this out, you're going to see people get it. And you're going to see how easy their lives are when they get it. All right. All right. Now, someone said, what about AI? Okay. The AI is what is the nucleus, the brain that runs the operation. The artificial intelligence is going to be running everything. It's going to be in real time. Everything's going to be left up to the artificial intelligence, and you'll have human beings monitoring the programs. All right. But it's going to be AI. AI, the quantum computing will be used in connection with the supercomputing, and that's how they will keep this all in real time. Everything's going to be connected. They'll have the drones in the sky. They already have drones that stay in the sky and never come down. It's their job to monitor. That's what they do. All right. They got ginormous drones that stay in the air, folks. They stay in the air. They don't land. And they've placed them all over the world. Their job is to photograph and record everything in real time. It's what they do. And then they're establishing the networks that are going to help their communication on the ground. That is what the 5G network is for. That's the communication. All right. It's going to communicate with, notice I didn't say satellite, I said drone. The drone will send the signals down through the communication tower, which will disseminate it all through the networks. Everything is going to be connected. The world will literally be connected. And they will use AI to run the programs because AI is better and can handle, billions of tasks in a split second more than the human being can. The human being's job will be to monitor the system to make sure that everything is working as it should. There will be readouts and panels. They will hire, engineers who will have that will be their job monitoring the AI, and it will be tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people worldwide working for the government because it will be mandated by the government. The government will use private contractors, private companies to do it. All right. So you'll still have your bureaucracy. Government people will still have their government jobs, but they'll be working in these newly developed departments. Then you'll have companies that contract the federal government. They'll be used to do the boots on the ground type of stuff. Remember, government is always oversight. The companies do the dirty work, the grunt work. All right. This is what this will happen. And you will have to have degrees in computer technology and stuff like that if you would like these nice paying jobs. All right. That's who it's going to be for. This is already here. The facial recognition technology is just another part, another tentacle of it. But yes, they will be able to track you in real time, listen to you in real time, no matter where you are. All right. They already have all that covered. All right. They will be installing new cameras to replace old cameras in certain areas because these cameras will be connected. They will be built and they're being built and designed specifically to be connected through the 5G network. A lot of the stuff that exists today is not compatible with the new technology, so they will have to replace a lot of stuff, which they don't mind. All right. Well, what about underground and through tunnels? Your underground train systems will have those. Their cameras will be retrofitted with the 5G network as well. Everything's going to be in there. There are going to be cameras everywhere, and they're going to be cameras in places that you don't know. But it's going to be very few blind spots, put it that way. Very few blind spots. All right. They will be everywhere, folks. Everywhere. You are going to be tracked in real time, and that's how it's going to be. And they're going to make you want it because you're going to see a whole host of product lines coming out that are connected to this BORGE. And you're going to see people styling and profiling, mainly your celebrities. Everybody telling you how ease of life it is having this thing, and it's just so dope. You don't have to worry about passwords and usernames and all that stuff no more. You ain't got to worry about, oh man, where did I put my keys? I don't have to find my keys no more. Oh, I left the house without my driver's license. Oh, I left the house without my credit card. Don't have to worry about none of that because everything will be programmed. Everything about you will be programmed into the BORGE. You won't need to, when you go to the hospital, I need your insurance information, please. I need you to fill out these forms. Not necessary no more. As soon as you come through the door, the emergency room, your information will be pinged and will automatically go into the system. The system will automatically put everything about you in there. Not a problem. And they'll call you. Just go have a seat. You ain't got to go up to the nurse's station or none of that. Go have a seat. Someone will be right with you and call you out. It's gonna be smooth. The process is going to look so dope for a lot of people. You're going to see people going to the grocery store, and then they're just going to grab what they want, stuff in the cart, and just go right out the store. And then those that don't have it, they'll have to stand in a very, very long lines. They're going to make it uncomfortable for you as time goes on. It's going to be uncomfortable for those that are not part of the board, because in the beginning, it's going to be voluntary. But those who don't have it are going to be looked at as stupid, dumb, slow, backwards, old fogey. They'll start hitting you, with derogatory terminology. You'll start seeing it in movies. You'll start seeing it on TV. You'll start seeing it put in the late night talk show jokes, like the David Letterman type shows. You'll see them cracking jokes. Stand-up comedians will be putting it in there and working it into their routine, and they'll keep hitting you and hitting you and hitting you and hitting you with it to the point where you'll feel ostracized if you don't get down with the program. You'll feel ostracized. You'll feel, real bad. All right. You'll feel like the boomers are feeling now. They call them boomers. Oh, you're just a boomer. And now that has a derogatory connotation to it. It's a dismissive term that has emerged all of a sudden out of nowhere. Oh, you boomer. It's extremely derogatory and disrespectful. You're saying if you're elderly, you're out of place. You have no place in society. You don't understand the new world. You don't understand society. You're old and ancient and obsolete. Your opinions are obsolete. Your worldview is obsolete. Your beliefs have become obsolete. So as soon as someone sees you, you have no voice because you're a boomer. What do you know? What do you understand? And a society that disrespects and mistreats its elderly is a society that's definitely on the decline. So even though this technology and stuff will be rolling out, you'll think that happy times are here again, but no, this nation will still be under severe decline. All right. So people need to understand what's going on so they can know how to navigate it. Now, it's going to be a lot of people that are still not going to get down with the program. It's going to be a lot of people say, no, I'm not joining your Borg. Forget you and your Borg. And they're going to still do things the old way, and they're not going to care. Just like today, you have people that have not embraced technology. There are people who still do not own a computer. And I'm not talking about poor people. I'm talking about people of means and substance who are older. All right. You can call them boomers if you want to. And they don't care. They still go into the checkout line and write checks. They still go to the checkout and pull out coinage, mad coinage to pay for things and write checks. All right. That's what they do. They don't care. They're not embracing technology. They're not on your internet. They don't even know what email is and don't care. All right. They don't care. They're not participating in the new society. And that's their right to. But notice how, because they don't, things are a little bit harder for them. When they go to the checkout to buy their groceries and use that check, it takes forever. And people behind them are getting so impatient. Why don't you just pull out your debit card? I don't have a debit card. Why don't you have a debit card? Because I don't want one. I'll write my check, thank you. And they don't care. They don't have the internet. They don't care. Some of them don't even have TVs. You'd be surprised how many people do not own a television. All right. And you laugh at that, but who doesn't? You would be surprised and shocked to know how many quote unquote boomers do not even own a smartphone. Yep, they do not own a smartphone. And you're right. You're right, Danny. It is something up. Notice how, just like Danny just said in the live chat, the term boomer rolled out a few months before coronavirus. Exactly. It came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. Just saying. Came out of nowhere. So this is where we are right now. We're here. This is the society that we're in, and we have to deal with it. We can't shrink from it. We can't run from it. We just have to embrace it and deal with it. This is where we are. All right. So where do we go from here? Well, we got to play it smart. That's number one. You got to play it smart. You can't pretend like this is not happening. You can't put your head in the sand. You're going to have to understand that it's going to take some time, but it is going to roll out. All right. It is rolling out, and there's nothing we can do about it. You can resist by saying, I will not participate. I'm not going to get the tattoo. I don't care. And that's fine because it's going to be voluntary. But they're going to try to make you feel so bad about it. Like, you're so backward. You're so old. You're so slow. You're so out of touch. And they won't be able to call you a boomer, but I'm telling you, they will call you a boomer. Because then the word boomer is going to take on a wider meaning. If you've noticed over the years, that's how things have been going. Boomers will be considered anyone who is not down with the program. All right? You will be a boomer. You could be 19 years old and they'll still call you a boomer. You see what I'm saying? Now, I want you to think about this too. This is why it's going to be so easy for them to do it, because they've been doing things they want to do all along up until now. All right, here's why it's going to be so widely accepted. This is the year 2000. By the year 2030, the Borg will be everywhere. But I want you to feel me on this. I want you to feel me on this. Think of the children that are being born this year. The Borg is all they are going to know. They're being born into it. And then think of the children that will be born in 2040. So from now, over the next 20 years, from now into 2040, those children, that generation, all they will know is the Borg. They won't know anything else. It will come easy for them. They won't resist. They won't understand your protests. They will be born into the Borg. That's right, Paul. They will be born into the Borg. All this is here, folks. It's nothing we can do about it. We are hurling full Mach 5 toward the abyss. And after all this is said and done, the U.S. bows out gracefully as the police of the world, as the superpower. The U.S. dollar is no longer the reserve currency. And then you have the rise of Rome, the euro. The Eurozone, the world's largest economy, is going to become the new US of A. You wait and see. And then that's when your dude comes out and he is revealed. It's going to be a lot of chaos that brings him out. It's not time for him yet, but he will be here. All right, we got some time yet, because the government moves very slowly, but this is it. This is what we're doing. All right, and they're getting ready for universal income. We have not seen the bad yet, folks. This right here was just the inauguration of it. This was the conception of it. The coronavirus is the conception. 20 years from now, historians will be looking back and saying, how did this all start? And they will bring it toward the coronavirus. That's where they will link all this to, the coronavirus. That is the big story. The next age is the age of the Borg. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of. Notice I didn't have a title for it. It's just ... All right. No, I don't think Trump is the Antichrist, man. We're not going to know anyway. We won't know until he's revealed. And there's Antichrist is not. He could be considered an Antichrist. The world has known many Antichrists over the years. You can say Obama was an Antichrist. You know what I'm saying? Hitler was an Antichrist. You know what I'm saying? So we will see, but we're not going to know. We won't know until he is revealed, and he's not going to be an American. It's going to be a European. It's going to be over there. It's not going to be over here, because he's going to be ruling the new Rome. When Rome is resurrected, that's where he's going to be ruling. Not here. And you will know. Trust me. If you are here when it happens, there will be no mistaking what's happening. You will know. And my hope and prayer is that none of you are here when that happens. Not near one of you. All right. You don't want to be here when that happens. If you are here when he is revealed, something has gone very wrong in your life. All right. Because that means that you were not caught up to meet him in the air. That means you were left behind. That means you have to go through the horrors of the tribulation, and you don't want to be here for that. All right. So with that being said, working on a couple of things, it was brought to my attention that the post waivers missed the closing price on the report. All right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a poll. Everyone who is a post waiver, I want you in the live chat and in the trading room, I want you to vote. Let me know if you want the closing price back on the report. And I'll see if I can make that happen. All right. But I want to take a poll first. Let's see what's what. All right. We'll keep it 100. And with that being said, tomorrow is our last chance to see what the market's going to do. How the markets behave tomorrow will tell us a lot. Okay. So we're going to be watching. We're going to be seeing what's going on. Today's a big day. Tomorrow's a big day. And I think it's going to help us to know what's really going on in these markets. All right. So with that being said, I'm about to wrap it up. Question. A third of the earth will be burnt with fire. Is that the US? That's a good question. That is a very good question. And I can't say one way or the other. I just know America's on its way out. I can tell you that. And I believe in my heart that it's going to be a multifaceted going out. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of different things are going to be happening with the U.S. I think the U.S. should really be more concerned with itself than what's going on in foreign policy and meddling in other people's matters. I think we have a lot of problems. I think that some of it is natural, like, Yellowstone has been acting up. We've been getting earthquakes in the Midwest, places like Idaho. That fault line that runs up and down the East Coast has been a little active, and I believe that it could be a multifaceted thing. Yellowstone could blow. This fault line that goes up down the East Coast all the way up to Canada could go. That could go first, and that could trigger Yellowstone, and that could also trigger the big one on the West Coast. Who knows? And then the country could be going through economic collapse at the same time, and maybe a war could break out. Who knows? I just believe it's going to be a multifaceted thing. I think it's going to be a multifaceted thing. Seriously, I just do. So because America's under judgment, it has been. Right now, it's under the judgment of abandonment, and that is absolutely harsh. It's like the worst thing. It's worse than all the others, in my opinion. Because that's when God himself turns his back on a nation, because they turned their back on him. All right. So with that being said, remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'll see the rest of you for the end of day report. And the pulse waivers, of course, I will see you guys in the trading room. And hold on, Thunderbird, what are you saying? And that Christ comes his own name, and nobody has done more to put his own name on everything. Yeah, but see, here's the thing, though. Like I said, there are three schools of thought when it comes to the man of perdition, the man of sin: Hebrew Israelite ancestry, European ancestry, and Arab ancestry. Those have been the three schools of debate over the centuries. The one that sounds more plausible, though, is the one that is of Hebrew Israelite ancestry. And what that means is, I believe, you can't really be dogmatic here, but I believe all the biblical evidence, and including extra biblical evidence, points to the fact that he will be some type of either a proselyte or even a Khazarian. All right. And if he's not, then that means he is one of those few that can link ancestry to the original Hebrew Israelites. Because remember, the Hebrew Israelites sinned against God greatly when they intermarried with all the Canaanite nations around them and stuff, and throughout the years and all that. So you have pretty much just about every nationality on the face of the earth has their genealogy mixed in with the Hebrew Israelites at some point in history. Like, it is what it is. I'm dead serious. It is what it is. So take it for how you want it. I know he's going to be ruling over the European Union, and that's going to be made up of the 10 kingdoms. All right. When they first put the whole idea of the euro together, it was made up of 10 nations, and that dates back to the 70s. All right, the 1970s. And so it's a lot to it, man. It's a lot to it. And there's a lot of literature on the subject, a lot of great men of God that have written on the subject going back many, many, many moons. So, until you've done like a real thorough expedition in the study of eschatology, the study of last things, it will not come clear to you. But you really have to take not only that, but that whole discipline, it takes years of study to get into it. But, because you have to have a good grasp on the Old Testament as well as the New Testament scriptures. You have to know, how to understand and rightly divide the truth when it comes to the book of the prophets, the Kethium, the Nibium, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, the Nibium. You have to understand how that intertwines with that. Oh, they said the Pope. No, it's not the Pope. Now, here's a funny thing, though, and this is cool. I like how things come about, but a lot of our forefathers believed that the Pope was that Antichrist in their day and age. You can say he was a type of Antichrist, but he was not the man of sin. He's not the man of sin. The Pope is not. But it's funny, though, how I understand how they came to it. Like I said, there have been some incredible writing. If we read some of the writings of the church fathers going all the way back to Augustine, stuff like that. You can even read some of the more so-called Roman Catholic church fathers, like Thomas Aquinas. These dudes wrote some heavy stuff, man, and a lot of at the time it made a lot of sense. But no, it's not. It's not so. If you would like a really good resource on the subject, I would go ahead and get the book by another great man of God, a gift to the church. His name was A.W. Pink, Arthur W. Pink. He wrote a book called Antichrist. That was the name of the book, and you can get the Audible book if you prefer. It's 10 hours long, and he goes into extreme depth, and he analyzes all the works of antiquities, up until his time. He lived in the 20th century, and he wrote some stuff, man. He breaks it down. Like I say, it's a 10-hour work. It's a masterpiece, probably the best work on the subject. There are many other works on the subject, but I think his is the best. And like I said, it's a 10-hour audio, and it is available. You can get that. Like I said, there have been a lot of people that have written some amazing stuff. Now, I would say if you take A.W. Pink's work, and if you can find it, good luck. If you can find it, I say good luck. If you can find Pastor John MacArthur's works, his series, he did a series on this, but it's not together. It was done over the course of decades, and there are different titles and different video series, but you can find the majority of it if you go to grace2you.org, grace2you.org. You'll have to search through the archives, and there's a lot of archives, but he does a complete work on it as well, and I think it goes really good hand in hand with A.W. Pink's work on Antichrist. But like I say, it's going to take some doing, because the ones on John MacArthur, they go way back, man. We talking about like the late 1960s, early 1970s, like 1971, 1972. Yeah. So good luck finding that, though. Some of the stuff is not there. I noticed they did an update on their site or something. I couldn't. There are things that I already had it, but I was looking to see if it was still there. And I had downloaded a lot of stuff many years ago, back before things were the way they are now, and I was able to put together and piece. It's kind of a gift I have. My nickname used to be Lego when I used to rap a long time ago, because of my ability to piece things together. So I pieced together a thing, because I'm really into audiobook. So I pieced together all the different sermons and stuff and put it together in a big old collection. He does have a completed work on the Book of Revelation, though. So you can get John MacArthur's sermon series on the Book of Revelation. It is incredible. Another good work on the subject is from another dear sweet man. I never got a chance to meet him. I wish I could have. And that's Dr. Vernon McGee. He did the Bible Bus. If you guys, any of you familiar with that? Well, his estate, it keeps the ministry going alive. And if you can go to his website, he has the MP3 series on the Book of Revelation, and I think that you will find that very well done as well. He actually takes you from a different perspective, because he actually went to the Holy Land and he visited the 7 churches listed in the Book of Revelation, and it's really riveting. So if you can find that, you'll be well put on the right path with that. As far as Bible code, the Bible code, in my opinion, man, I could do a whole nother series on that alone. The Bible code, man, is now I got issues with that. One of my biggest issues with that is the equal letter sequencing and distancing that they do with it. You can basically make it say anything you want, and it's always done after the fact. No one did a Bible code 6 months ago saying, oh, the coronavirus is coming. Plus, the Bible code is under the category of what we call bibliomancy. Bibliomancy is a weirdness that people do. Like, if I pick my Bible up and open it, whatever scripture it lands on, that's what the Lord intended for me to read that day. That's called bibliomancy. And nah. Let's see here. Catholic Church is the beast, and Trump is the one who has given power to the beast. No, again, the Roman Catholic Church is an apostate religion. It is not it's not the Antichrist. What do I mean by that? Again, I don't have time to go all into that, but I'll put you like this. Martin Luther, I think he aired that out. You know what I'm saying? When he already aired all that out. All right, with his 99 thesis. So if there's any question about that, and I'm not trying to disrespect any Roman Catholics, all right? I know people who are Roman Catholics. I'm not disrespecting you. I'm talking from a biblical centric perspective. That's all we're doing. All right. You can disagree, that's fine. But I think Martin Luther handled it. I think he handled the whole Roman Catholic situation back then. And I don't mean Martin Luther King, I mean Martin Luther. All right. The monk. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Let's see. Someone said Brandon O'Connell on YouTube, fascinating. How he says how Israel's third temple is so that they can put the main AI supercomputer into it, creating the anti-Christ mosaic heavy stuff. Okay, no. All right. As far as the third temple is concerned, yes, that third temple is going to go up, but the thing you need to understand is when it goes up, they will be doing sacrifices again. They will be offering animal sacrifices in that temple. It's not going to be some big computer mainframe. No, they're going to be offering sacrifices on it again. All right. You need to understand that. That's what the scriptures say. All right. It will be rebuilt and it's going to be offering sacrifices on it. But that's not now. Again, that's during that time. All right. So basically, most of us will probably not be alive when that happens because I think it's not too distant, but it's still a little distant, little ways off. I don't think we'll be alive. I think some of us will die of natural causes, old age, whatever, by the time that happens. And if not, if we are one of the lucky ones, perhaps we won't die at all and we'll be caught up to meet him in the air. So, because that's what the scriptures teach, that the church is taken away. The church is taken away before the man of sin is revealed. And then when he is revealed, that's when the tribulation starts. The tribulation starts the moment the church is taken off the map. Once the church is out of here, that's when that starts. All right. So you want to be with that group. You want to be one of the raptured, not one of the ones that are left here to deal with the tribulation. You don't want that. All right. Now, I know there is a plethora of channels on YouTube and social media being extraordinarily over the top disrespectful to all the church fathers, to modern church leaders. They've been disrespectful. You know, saying if you believe in the tribulation, you're an idiot, you're stupid, you're satanic, you're the antichrist, blah blah blah. And the people who are doing this are young. The most of them are young. All right, they still got mama's milk on their breath, and here they are. They have the audacity to call the church fathers and modern day church leaders, calling them apostate, calling them false teachers. I've seen those videos and it was disgusted. I almost threw up. All right. They've called people like John Piper and John MacArthur and Dr. James White and Vodi Bakum and the dearly departed lovable R.C. Sproul, calling all these guys fake teachers and all types of things, call them all out their name. I'm like, first of all, you don't even know these people. Second of all, these men have done more for the body of Christ than you have ever done in your entire life. You need to stop. So, and none of them have repented. They don't care. They still keep coming. So they make it hard, for people to receive the truth. They act as stumbling blocks for people that are searching for answers and searching for truth. So what I would say to you is, pay no attention to them. All right, please don't do that. All right, and I want to leave it with this. I am not a Zionist. Okay, there's a difference. All right, and here in America, you have this radical, like, evangelical Zionist movement. Like, if you don't love Israel and love it, then you're not a Christian. Just crazy stuff. not understanding what the scriptures teach. And people are so busy infighting that they can't see the forest for the trees. And that's also a problem, because you have the visible church going at war with the invisible church. And that's a problem too. So yeah, it's a lot going on, man. A lot of different subjects, a lot of different things happening and going on in the world besides the coronavirus, Um, and like I said, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of time to deal with all these things. And I'll be honest, I don't have the time or the inclination to deal with all this stuff. There are people far better suited to do it than me. And some of them have already written on the subject extensively. That's why I pointed you in that direction. I've given you 3 names already. I would highly suggest you go and study to show thyself approved. All right. And see what the scriptures teach. We'll see what they really teach, man. Take advantage of these men of God while they're still here. They've written extensively on the subject. R.C. Sproul went to be with the Lord not long ago. Was it last year, I think? So, but at least his body of work still is still here, and his son is picking up the mantle where he left off at. John MacArthur's still here with us, thank God. But grace to you, the church really puts they archive all his stuff. It's there. All his books, tapes, sermons, everything's up there. Like I said, Dr. James White, he's still on YouTube under Omega Ministries. And you got, like I said, the Bible Bus with Dr. Vernon McGee. You can go right on their website, boom, and they give all their stuff out for free, seriously. So there you go. Yeah, it's sad, Kyle. You're right. Religion and politics always divides people, and it shouldn't. We should be able to debate things vigorously, but at the end, still go out and have a hamburger together and still love on one another. We all have beliefs and opinions, but we should all be able to come to the marketplace of ideas and share openly without ridicule, without, the personal attacks, without the ad hominem attacks and the sarcasm and all that stuff. Just discuss, just talk, just say, hey, here's what I believe and here's why I believe it. Now let me hear what you believe and why you believe it. And ask questions, learn from each other, because you can't just dismiss someone or a topic because you don't like it or you disagree with it. Find out why you don't like it, and then you can talk about it. But if you don't really know, don't just say, oh, I don't like those people, or I don't like that. You don't know what they stand for. You don't know why they believe what they believe. How you go? That's another thing too. You win more people when you can put an arm around them and talk to them, with real love and with respect. When we can talk to each other with love and respect, boom, we can heal a lot of ills. Seriously, And how can you do that? How can you share what you believe? People don't care what you believe. No one cares how much you know until they learn how much you care. That's what people want. They really want to know. Even if what you're saying is the straight up truth, facts and truth, they're not going to receive you if you're badgering them, if you're beating them over the head, and if you're forcing your beliefs down their throat. People want to know that you care about them as a person. Then they'll listen to you. But you got to be real and you got to be authentic. And if you don't know something, you got to say, you know what, I don't know. I need to look into that. Or if you're wrong, say, yo, you know what, man, I was wrong on something. I just want to put this correction out here. Boom, there you have it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, with that being said, I have talked enough. I need to do some work here. I got some coding to do. I'm running some algos today. Anyone who wants to know, got filled long on the TBT, got filled long on the DDM, got filled long on the silver futures, the gold futures, and the Russell futures. Okay. I will be updating the site with all those open positions as well as the stops. These are the ones I'm looking to actually hold into next week. So we'll see. because I think that that's when we're going to get the real move, the real direction, like one last thrust to trade near resistance in the stock indexes before the market makes a decision and then says, okay, I'm going to roll over now and test the lows. What I'm trying to do here is take as much off the top as I can get. However close we get toward the trend line resistance I showed you in the charts, I just want to go ahead and take that, go ahead and take that coinage, and then be quick and ready to get short again. That's really what we're doing. I'm riding the last fumes of the rally until the market is ready to roll over. And then once it's ready to roll over, I rock and roll with it. So that's how we roll. All right. Dex, where did you learn to code? I taught myself everything I know. All right. Believe it or not, truth be told, I am not some master coder. And truth be told, if I went and tried to get a job, like, being paid to do something like that, no one would hire me. On paper, I'm a mess. And I'm saying, I straight up, I couldn't be hired. No one would hire me to do anything. That's the funny part. No one would hire me today to do anything that I'm doing right now. They just wouldn't, because I don't have the credentials on paper. I don't meet their credentials. I just don't. I don't. And that's funny because we live in a world where if you don't have credentials, no one's going to listen to you. Even if everything that you're saying is factual and truthful, no one will want to listen to you. They'll say, well, you're not a doctor. You're not a medical doctor. Nope. But then I would say, okay, but I might not be a medical doctor, but here's my question. Can you find any fault with what I've said to you? And they will refuse you. At that part of the debate, that's when they pivot and say, well, you don't know what you're talking about because you're not a doctor, but you still haven't addressed the things I've said. Is it true? If everything I just said about this topic true or not? See what I'm saying? They don't want to go there because they hang everything. Their whole world has been built around titles and degrees. A degree just says you have the ability to learn. It doesn't say that you understand anything that you've learned. It just says you have the ability to learn. It doesn't mean you fully understand anything. Because if that were the case, then explain to me why some lawyers are terrible and others are fantastic. Why are some surgeons absolutely miracle workers and others are just regular or subpar? Why are some doctors have a horrendous bedside manner when others are more like, an angel? Why is it that some mechanics can actually fix your car and then others can't? See what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You don't necessarily have to have degree credentials to know what you're talking about. Some of the most educated people I've ever met or known have never even stepped foot inside of a college classroom, but you would never know that because of their vast knowledge on various subjects. Some of them are experts on certain subjects and they've never been to college, and if they did, they would embarrass the professor. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Yeah, I know some dumb, highly educated people too. Yeah, education does not equal common sense or intellect. The way we measure intellect is wrong. Intellect has nothing to do with memorization. All right. So anyway, with that being said, man, yeah, on paper I look disgusting. No, people would laugh at me. You have no experience. How are you doing what you're doing? You have no experience. According to them. And that's because I came along. I mean, I was born at the right time, technically. And I came into a lot of things when you didn't have to have a college degree to do stuff. All right. There was a time, believe it or not, where Wall Street and the financial sector was hiring people with no college degree. You could work your way up. If you were smarter than the person sitting beside you, you would move up and they wouldn't, even if they had 10 degrees. And that's facts. And you want to know why? Because at the end of the day, no one cares how smart you are. They care if you can make them money. An employer just wants to know, are you going to make me rich or are you going to make me poor? I can't tell you how many dudes got fired on Wall Street because they didn't know what they were doing. They just couldn't grasp the concept. So they got fired. They may have had an MBA from Harvard. It didn't matter. You're out of here. You're not making us any money. Bye. If you didn't meet your goals, you were out on your behind, straight up. So at the end of the day, people want to know who's making me money. I would rather open, yep, can you produce? That's all they care about. Can you produce? That's right. I'd rather hire a janitor to manage my portfolio who knew what he was doing than to go to Goldman Sachs and open an account, one of their financial advisors. And I mean that in the most utmost sincerity, straight up. And I can say that. I once knew, and this is back during the Yahoo message boards days, where it was wild up in there, man, all those different trading rooms. There was a guy though, and he was a incredible day trader. We used to go at it, man. He was an airplane mechanic. That's what he did. He was an airplane mechanic. But that dude was a beast in the trading. He could trade the E-mini S&P. He is like he knew where that market was going, and we would go back. It was him and I. We'd be posting trades all through the day. We was loving it. I'm long, I'm short. I'm long, I'm short. We was killing it, and I never forgot him. But back on, and that was after my Wall Street days. But during my Wall Street days, there was only one person I knew of and would talk on the phone with and stuff. It was just this dude. I don't know anything about the dude, but it was a dude, man. Some brother up in Philadelphia. Now, I think he was like the money man for some gangsters or something, seriously, because I know he had opened an account for someone that was locked up in prison. They weren't in jail, they was in prison. I remember getting correspondence from a prison, and he was trading for people, trading for some gangsters. I don't know where this dude came from. He was like no older than me. But this dude was scary. Now, this is before I had my own system, before I knew anything about trading. I was just on the brokerage side of things. I had not yet even put together my first trading strategy or system. And this brother was so nasty, man. He would trade the euro dollar, one of the stock indexes like Dow or NASDAQ, and I forget what the third thing was he would trade. I'm here to tell you, dude was flawless. I cannot remember a time where he actually lost a trade. I'm serious. He was a monster. And I talked to him, I was like, dude, how are you doing this? And at the end of the day, we had what is called a run. Your run was your report as a broker that had all your clients listed. They could be self-direct clients, meaning they're not working with a broker, and your broker-assisted clients. And my job running the trade desk was to look at the daily run at the end of the day and see who's on margin call, who's not. And I could look and see who made money for that day, who didn't. The majority of people never made money. But this one dude was always making money. He was incredible. Straight up. I always wanted to meet that dude, never met him, but he was a monster. Then, as time went on, like when the Yahoo message boards came and I left Wall Street and all that, I had met a handful of traders that were pretty nasty like that. Like I said, the airline mechanic, he was nice, and there was another dude who put together. He had a small hedge fund, and he only traded the Dow, the mini Dow futures, and he was doing some stuff. He was nice with it. He was nasty with it, man. He had his thing. He had his thing going. He was pretty good. Then there was a British dude. He had a really weird name too. He was some type of scientist. I forget what field he worked in, but he was some type of a scientist. And he traded the NASDAQ. He loved that NASDAQ. And he had a little method for doing the NASDAQ. So over the years, like I said, I've met a handful of guys that really could trade like myself. And we would go back and forth. We had a good time, man. We would trade different things. Hey, did you catch that? I'm long. Yeah, I'm long. And back during these times, though, you would have to post your trades before you enter, and you have to post what price you got in, where your stop was, and you had to do that immediately. If you were one that just came in and said, "Oh, I'm long or I'm short something," but you didn't place your stop when you did it, it didn't count, and you'll be kicked out of the room, because then we know that you're just trolling or whatever. You're not real. And if there was ever a disagreement, like no way in the world you got filled at that price, we would literally pull up the time of sales, because you could do that, and you can still do that depending on what platform you're on. You can pull up time of sales, and you can see what trades went off at that particular price and what time, because they're time stamped. So if a person says, "Yeah, man, I got out at the top of the Dow today. I see the top of the Dow is at 22,886. I got out at 22,886." They said, "Well, what time did you do that? What time did you get filled?" "Oh, I got filled just now." And you look like, "Well, actually, no, you didn't, because at this time of date, no trades went off at that time." And it was funny because, again, this is, the beginning stage of online trading, stuff like that. And the time of sales showed you the prices and the time stamps that go with it. So if a person says, "Yeah, I got out at such and such time," well, no, there was no trades that were filled at that price at that time. It was hilarious. So people would get booted and kicked out of the room for stuff like that, for trolling like that, because you're not real. You're not really in the market. And if we was a real disagreement, you would have to post screenshots. Well, show me you getting filled, and show me you entering the market. Show me your trade statements. Let me see it. And you would have to post screenshots, proof that you were in at this price and you got out at that price, and you've been, you doing this. You're about that life. So it was hilarious, man. It just shows me how much times have changed since then. Now you got people with YouTube channels. Any and everyone can say that they are someone, and you would never know the truth. Anyone can say, "Oh, I'm a trader, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm this, I'm that," and they're not. They're misrepresenting themselves. They're running Ponzi schemes and pyramid schemes and beating people out of their money. So it's hard now. It's hard now to know, people, especially when they come out of nowhere. I'm not going to say no names, but there are people who've come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they got a trading channel, and they got people following them, and it's very suspect, put it that way. They came out of nowhere, never been on YouTube before or any social media whatsoever. None of the message boards, none of the other trading rooms that are still in existence today. Never. And I ask around other people that I know, they say, "Nope, never heard of that dude." You try to do some background on them, try to Google them, nothing comes up. And it's always convenient. They say, "I worked on Wall Street 15 years ago, 20 years ago," knowing that there's no way you can verify that, because the NASD does not keep records beyond 10 years. So there's no way you can prove it. See what I'm saying? Really slick stuff, the way people be moving these days. So anyway, that's all I got, man. I've been rambling for hours. Y'all got me talking. Y'all got me over here monologuing. See what y'all done did to me, man? You got me monologuing. Caught me out there. And I'm out. So I'll see y'all in the trading room. I need to go drink some water or something, because my mouth is parched. Hit that like button, though. Help a brother out. Excuse me. And I will see y'all in the trading room and the end of the day report. Be encouraged, all right, people? Be encouraged. And whatever you do, try to love on each other as hard as you can. Encourage somebody today. Help somebody today. And let's make this money. Let's make these coins. I'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace.